Hello, hi everyone. This is Grant. Happy Friday. We made it. Another week. I'm going to keep it brief. I got Brian from Undertaking the Podcast on this week's episode. Brian is a great dude. His name's Brian Waters. Look him up on social media. Look up his podcast, Undertaking the Podcast. He's a funeral director from Indiana. Friend of mine I met over the internet, and he actually has COVID, and he still took the time. He talked to me for over an hour. It was a fun conversation, but yeah, you can tell he's sick as fuck in like a COVID way. You know, not like a. I mean, he is cool, but yeah, he's definitely sick as fuck, bro. You know. Anyway, here's part one. If you want to hear part two, go to www.terribleperson.co for all the premium episodes of How to Become a Terrible Person. It's a good time. Yeah. So just head on over there, scoot on over there and sign up for that. Listen to today's episode and then go back and listen to all the old episodes. Why not? Fuck it. So before I ramble on too long, here is Brian Waters. Oh my gosh, everyone. Hi, how are you? Joining me today, doing quite a service actually, because not only is he busy with his career as a funeral director and as a professional podcaster and male model, he is also sick with the COVID-19. Is it 19? Are you sick with COVID-22? What do you got? Oh, by the way, his name's Brian from Undertaking the Podcast. Everybody, Brian Waters. Hello, round of applause. Fanfare. Brian, I want to ask you how things are going. I want to talk about podcasting. I want to talk about the funeral industry. I got just random shit because I know you're up for it. And hopefully we'll distract you a little bit from being sick. That's my hope. That's my goal is maybe podcasting will be the best medicine for your COVID-19. Hopefully. Now I don't want to get demonetized, so I need to say podcasting does not cure COVID-19 symptoms. Right? Is that or does it? Who knows? Hey, we'll find out. Maybe at the end of the episode, we will find out if Brian still has COVID-19 or if, maybe he might die. We'll see. Yeah, Brian, let's get into the episode. We're going to have fun. I'm going to let you talk. I'm not just going to talk over you the whole time. I promise. I promise you that. So hell yeah, here we go.
Caitlin
and Grants are not medical or mental health professionals. How to Become a Terrible Person is for entertainment purposes only. Standard data and message rates apply to messages. Damn it, have some common sense, people.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to How to Become a Terrible Person, the only podcast on the internet helping you become the best, worst person possible. My name is Grant, and today I'm not joined by my beautiful girlfriend, Caitlin. I'm joined by the handsome and perfectly healthy Brian Waters from Undertaking the Podcast. Brian, how are you today?
I am well.
Not really.
Well, not really, yeah. Am I your first COVID positive guest?
Yeah, dude. We're breaking boundaries here. This is what we do on the podcast. We want people to know that just because you have COVID-19 doesn't mean, we at How to Become a Terrible Person think of you any less. So,
right.
So, Brian, what are your symptoms? How are you feeling? What's happening in your world? How has this affected your work? I have so many questions.
It started out just like body aches, and then it got really, really intense. It felt like I broke my ankle. I could barely walk, and I'm like, this is stupid.
Really?
So I tested. Yeah, it's just body aches and fever coming on. Body aches and fever. So I tested, and I got like this little faint line. And I'm like, is that a line enough? I mean, how line do I need?
Right.
So I asked my wife, and she's like, if there's any line, you're positive. So I tested again, and I was positive. So, yeah, that was day one. Day two was, even worse with body aches and fever, chills, and all that stuff.
Oh, my gosh.
Today's day three, and I've kind of turned the corner. So
Day three.
Advil's been my friend. Day three.
And you're podcasting. Because you're a nice guy. Well, let's just get that out there. You're a nice guy for doing this. Sorry, dude. You have a podcast. It's called Undertaking the Podcast.
Right.
And we met because I do a podcast called My Funeral Home Stories. Or a couple years ago, I did My Funeral Home Stories. I'm coming back, Brian. I promise. Coming back. Yeah. What's going on in the world of podcasting for you guys? Because I get messages all the time that are like, hey, I checked out your podcast, now I listen to Undertaking the Podcast, or I was listening to Undertaking the Podcast and I started following you. It's like a really cool community of people that are into some weird shit, I think, right?
Well, in a way, yeah. I mean, I get the same thing. Folks that have checked your show out will find me, and like you said, vice versa. No, still going strong. We're still doing 2 a week, Tuesday, Friday. We've crossed the 400 episode mark.
Jesus, dude.
We got highlighted in one of probably the best funeral service magazines. So that was pretty cool.
What magazine is that?
It's called Southern Calls, and it's such a cool magazine that you could leave it out in the funeral home and let other people read it.
Oh, that's cool.
It's not like a sales trade magazine. It's a story magazine, and that's what's great about it.
Have you been out at any restaurants and people are like, "Oh my God, were you in Southern? What's it called? Southern
Calls."
Oh my God, are you Brian from Southern Calls magazine?
Southern Calls,
and you're like, "Why? In fact, I am." So,
Grant, everyone has to have a goal,
dude. Dude, that's fucking sick, man. You guys are killing it. Like I tell you every time I talk to you, I'm so impressed with you guys and your fan base and like the people that listen. And because it is educational, it's about the funeral industry, but it's about you guys, and I think that's pretty sick. So, are you taking a week off from the funeral industry? Do you get the luxury of having time off?
No, not at all. I actually had to do a webinar last night, so I did that sweaty and feverish.
What was your webinar on?
It was for students, but it was part of the funeral peer support group, so it's kind of a community supporting mental health and whatnot. So I kind of just gave a little speech for students and those entering funeral service on kind of setting their expectations. So it sounds boring. I tried to make it fun.
So it's kind of like, get ready.
Yeah. It's like, here, you need to set your expectations or otherwise you're going to get surprised at every turn.
Now, what do you think?
That's no fun.
What do you think for new funeral directors? What do you think the biggest misconception of the business is?
I mean, for some coming right into mortuary school, we hear a lot of people going, I hate the living, so I want to work with the dead. And it's like, I hate to break it to you, but you're working with the living.
Yeah, and also dead people still suck. Like,
well, dead people don't come unattached to the living.
Exactly, you're right.
Yeah. So, I mean, dead people are great. They bother no one.
So I feel like I get a lot of messages from people who are just entering the business or finishing school, and they say the same thing. They're like, I can't stand the living. And I'm like, that's kind of a cliche, shitty reason to be a funeral director. You know?
Well, it's like, are you going to be good at anything if you're not helping someone else out?
Well, yeah. I mean, even if you were like, I just want to cut up dead people, I'd be like, well, at least that's a better reason than not wanting to talk to people. Like that's
yeah. Like I'm interested in anatomy.
Right.
I get that. I mean, like, if you don't like people, go sit in the forest and be a monk or something. You can sit to yourself.
So Brian? If you had to say, what's your favorite part about being a funeral director? Okay, I'm gonna take one thing off the table.
Okay,
it can't be helping people.
No, I was coming right out of the gate with I like the freedom that it gives me.
Oh, really? In what capacity?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, although there's a certain area that I don't have freedom, I can't just run away.
Nights and weekends,
just disappear. Yeah,
right.
But like day to day, I've got a lot of freedom to do what I need to do and when to do it, and that freedom, comes at a pretty high price.
Sure.
So, a price that I pay, but a price that I would not leave unless I'm getting really, really well paid.
That's interesting.
That freedom's expensive. Excuse me. Yeah. As I'm choking here from COVID, I've had to work, even though I've been sick. I've had to go into work and make sure things are getting done, but I can disappear and try to get better too.
Well, so I was going to say, so I talked to you at the beginning of COVID about COVID and the funeral industry and stuff, right? Like we had a nice conversation. It's somewhere. I don't know where it is. It's on the internet. We talked about the implications of COVID basically. And so now that you have COVID, 2 years after we had this conversation, and you're kind of at work, you're kind of working. How are people in Indiana handling COVID right now in the industry, I guess?
In the industry, we've adapted. We're sorting it out. I mean, only times it gets really rough is if a large share of your staff gets sick.
Sure.
But it's kind of becoming like any other type of sickness now. They're not. Everyone's following the CDC recommendations, and
Sure.
there's really no contact tracing anymore. It's basically just if you've got symptoms, stay away from people. And
Where do you think
Sounds reasonable.
where do you think you got it?
I think I got it at a funeral.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Eddie. I mean, did you see the person just hacking and wheezing?
Actually, no, not at all. But that's the only thing I can figure because I hadn't done anything else. You hadn't been around people, so.
Isn't that the okay? So,
Yeah.
so speaking of being around people, you have been. I've noticed you've been doing some live events lately.
Oh,
I've,
yeah.
I've noticed you've been at the hotspot conventions in the industry. What's that like? What have you been doing? Because I see you have the podcasting gear on the floor of these conventions. Are you doing it to podcast? Or are you actually doing some networking where people get to? Are you speaking? I don't know the ins and outs.
Yeah, kind of a whole umbrella thing. Going to these events usually starts with someone asking me to give a presentation, and that's not something that I've always done or even advertised. But people started asking, and I guess I'm one of those people that have a hard time saying no.
100%.
But I enjoy it.
So what?
I
Yeah,
enjoy it, though.
you're clearly doing this. You have a hard time saying no.
So, but if they make it, if they take care of my expenses and make
Sure.
it even, I'm happy to do it. And then I always work out a deal with them. If I'm going to go, I might as well podcast. And then while I'm doing all of that, I meet new people for more stories. So it's so the speaking is actually helping the podcast, and then it's just this circle, and the podcast is helping the speaking, and
It's amazing.
and all of it's getting us to meet more people and tell more stories. So
So
it's all in one.
what? So if they were to let's say a convention calls you and they're like, "Hey, Brian, we want you to give a presentation." What would you give a presentation on? What's your move?
My move is ask them what they want.
Greatest
'Cause
hits. You just go,
Greatest-
what
yeah.
what kind of classic Brian presentation do you guys want? That's what you say.
Yeah. You want the classics, or do you
Yeah,
want
dude.
the
You want me to dust off some oldies, or do you want me to fucking bring out the
Yeah.
new shit?
you want the Dirty Brian session?
Yeah, and do you work?
Yeah.
Do you work blue? Do you swear during your performances? Do you call them performances?
It does feel like a performance, though. Honestly.
Absolutely.
That's the way I look at it. It's performance theater. Because I've sat through enough presentations. Watching someone read off a PowerPoint, kind of. So I try to do what doesn't bore me. So if I'm excited about it, then chances are I might be able to get you excited
Totally.
about whatever the hell I'm talking about. So,
So-
I try to stay in that realm. But
So-
I can't talk embalming. I talk theory. I talk, just networking and growing and all that type of stuff.
That's sick. So what, when you talk theory, are you talking in what regard? So I'm very curious about that.
Theory more so on how we talk about what we do, how we share with the public, how we just talk about what we do, and how we define it for ourselves. Because, like any business, it can become robotic, and you just go through the motions. And if you're not thinking about what you're doing, you're never going to improve. You just go through the motions, for the next 30 years. And then 30 years later, you're going to be all puffed up and tell the next generation, "I've done this 30 years." Well, you may have done it. You may have done it wrong for 30 years.
Yeah.
You got to check yourself.
Now, do you get any pushback in the community for your podcast? I know I always like to ask you because I feel like that's kind of a sliding barometer where people they're sometimes they're real hot on a podcast about funeral stuff, or they're like, this is bad for the business. It's like talking about how wrestling's fake. It's like wrestlers being like, "Oh yeah, I worked this one guy in Nashville." And you're like, don't talk about that. Keep the showbiz up. Keep the veil of whatever the funeral industry is. Do you think are people getting more responsive to you guys talking about things as openly as you do?
They are. We still have some of those older adults that act like that kid at the wrestling thing where he stands up and says, "It's still real to me,
Yeah,
damn it!"
totally, man.
I know you've seen the video. I love it. But no, there's a lot of undertakers out there. They group us. we don't get called out specifically, and definitely not to our faces.
Sure.
hey, I'm sorry. It's just COVID. It's just COVID.
Totally, dude. I'll beep those out. I'll censor those so I don't get deplatformed. Hey, I told my bosses, I was like, hey, I'm interviewing a fella who has COVID, so I'm not going to be at work for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's right.
And I didn't tell
some contact here.
I mean, I didn't tell him that we were doing this over the phone, so it's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, but to your question though, some of the funeral directors have coined the term funeral tainer for anyone who like creates content and puts it out on the internet. So they use the derogatory term funeral tainer that, they're not successful in their career, so they got to do this. And it's, there's some people out there that you could call funeral tainers, that they're all about themselves and, they're making money and doing some pretty weird, disgusting stuff.
What?
And,
okay, let's pivot down that rabbit hole. What are the things on social media? Because here's the thing, man. Every industry, there's fucking phonies who, say I'm a professional X, I'm Z, whatever else. And they're on social media and they're talking a big game, and then you kind of realize, pull the curtain back, and you're like, oh shit, they don't know what they're talking about. That happens in every industry. And I had a conversation with the funeral director maybe a couple months ago about how annoyed they were at like first year people getting into the industry and then being on TikTok, being like, I'm a funeral director. Yeah. What are the things that bother you about that? And what are the things that are really egregious, like that people are doing?
Well, some of the things that are just annoying is like when someone, loses their job and they want to go out and have a vendetta, and they're going to rip the veil off funeral service like it's not already been ripped off 60
right.
years ago.
100%.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to do it again. So they get in front of a camera and they explain how an economy works. They're like, they bought this for less and sold it for more. And it's like, yeah, that's
what a dirty practice.
Well, yeah, how terrible that is. But I'll throw this one at you.
Yeah.
It is Suicide Awareness Month, and there's a person who shall remain nameless that's doing a suicide seminar, and it's a suicide series for the month. There's multiple webinars, but the first one is on hanging, and she shows what. Anyway, outing the person accidentally.
Wait, no.
They.
Oh, okay. No, you're good.
They show pictures of, what we see in the embalming room to the general public. Now it comes at a cost. It's $99. It is free to veterans though.
Whoa, dude.
And then, but it's marketed kind of all goth and spooky and for your morbid curiosity. And like everybody saw that and went, ooh.
So I've been lying to people and telling them that I'm a firefighter lately. That's like my new thing. I've been stealing firefighter valor. I just think it's awesome. So do you think I could get into the seminar as a veteran for free? Wait.
Oh, I bet you could. I doubt you have to. Yeah, you might be able to get in for free.
So is this like a webinar that they're doing?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God. Oh wait. So do I know this person? Do you think? I promise you, I will take this question out. Do I know this person?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
But you might. But you could know of them.
Well, then here, you know what? I won't edit that. Note to future Grant. I don't have to edit that out. Okay. That is interesting. Like, so what? They're just showing like, this is what we do. This is what we deal with.
Right. And, it's like, it's for, that's the thing is like here's the thing is when we get pictures, taking pictures is not a standard practice.
100%.
We only take pictures on special cases that a family has given us approval for, and normally it's very specific approval. I was going
to ask you, so under what circumstances? Because in my experience, I was only at the funeral home 10, 11 years. And I never, ever would have thought a camera for a funeral director would be a necessity. So it's not. What circumstances have you ever you've taken pictures or you've had pictures taken? I've never done that. So what?
Yeah, I have I've got 3 cases that a family has granted me permission because there was a special request that I do not necessarily extreme, but restoration techniques, which take quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
And the reason I asked for permission, and it's on the form, we checked the box of why we're taking the pictures, and it's for educational purposes. So what I told the family is, in the future, I may be speaking to students and fellow funeral directors on how to do these processes, and we do need cases to show them. And if you're willing, we'd never take pictures without your permission. Blah, 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 blah. So they know. So the family signs off knowing what it's going to be, and it's kind of like what happens when you donate your body to science. There's just a big old thing up in Seattle where a World War II veteran was on display in a hotel ballroom for a public autopsy, open to anyone. And basically, it was a moneymaker. Someone bought his corpse and sold tickets to dissect it in front of people.
Holy shit!
So there's some grounds in there that make you go, ugh.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, to the kids though, I mean, you can do anything you want to do in life. It sounds like. If you want people to pay $50 and watch you just cut up a dead body, what would be even better is if that guy had no medical training, no funeral. He was just like, "Hey, come check this out."
It would not surprise me whatsoever.
That's such an interesting thing. I've never, because I mean, you've done probably that was like my dad's specialty.
No kidding.
I feel like a lot of folks in Indiana have there's a lot of good restoration people in the state.
Yes.
I don't know if it's it's a focus in where you guys studied or anything like that, but what's the most extreme thing you've reconstructed that you've been most proud of?
I would say it'd be a car wreck or death by a firearm. Some of those get pretty intricate and time consuming. And that's the key. Is I think most embalmers want everyone to know that if you run into a funeral home that tells you no, you found the wrong funeral home. Pick another one.
Yeah.
And that recently came across my way of a person whose loved one was dead a while, and every funeral home told them they could not see them, and that was the one thing. That was their one request. We want to see them, and everyone told them no, and they told them no without even seeing the body. And my response to the family was, they said, "Can we see them?" And I said, "I can't tell you you can or you can't until I see them.
Right.
But chances are you probably can. This is what I specialize in this. I teach on it." And I said, "So I would never tell you no until they're here, and there's literally nothing I can do. Otherwise, I'll do what I can, plus probably create a few ideas in the meantime."
You're like, how about a hat?
How about right? How about some gloves and sunglasses?
Yeah, dude. How about a big old scarf? I remember that was the classic was putting a scarf on somebody who had some sort of markings around their neck. You'd just be like, "Well,
yeah. How would you like to go out looking like you're on safari?"
Yeah, dude. It's called our safari package. Everybody's getting it this season.
It's the Josh Gates package.
Yeah, dude. Okay. The funeral industry, you guys, there's a lot of people. You probably meet a lot of people at conventions. Now, is OnlyFans? Do you hear about OnlyFans in the funeral industry? Do you hear about OnlyFans in let's say maybe your circle of people that are involved in media and funeral stuff? Do people have OnlyFans accounts that you know of? Do you know what OnlyFans is?
Well, I do because there's been a debate internally on the podcast of getting Ryan an OnlyFans since he's got the beach body.
I mean, and
dude. I thought we ought to target the boys, but that's not Ryan's persuasion. But,
hey man, dude, it's about money. You know what I mean?
Hey, it's the internet. Dangle your carrot wherever you want.
Yeah, dude. I'll send Ryan $25 right now for a picture of his feet, dude. I'm just kidding.
See?
I'm like, let's slide off those loafers, Ryan. Let's see what's going on down there. So, so I mean, have you met any funeral directors who are I guess they wouldn't tell you. I mean, that's kind of I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think a funeral director could have an OnlyFans and still work at a funeral home? Probably, right?
I'm sure someone's already doing it already.
I mean, it's got to be. Here, so what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on OnlyFans? In a non-funeral sense, like, are you for it? What do you think about it? I don't mean to put you in a weird place.
I've never checked it out, but I get the gist of it, and I guess, hey, free market economy.
Totally.
You know, hey, things are tough, times are hard. Here's your freaking Christmas card. You know, so.
Now, do you think are you worried at all? I mean, because social media now has ruined the world. I mean, by all accounts, are you concerned? Because you have kids, right? I ask you that every time I talk to you. I think that's
still do. Yeah.
I think it's because I don't have kids. I'm like, object permanence just isn't a thing. Like, I'm just like, I have two cats.
That's always rule number one. Don't kill them.
Yeah, dude. Just make sure they're still cool. So, I mean, I guess it's like I'm doing like you a favor and asking every time just to make sure. You're like, oh shit, I have kids. So what do you think? Are your kids, when they come to the age of social media, if social media is even still around, what are your thoughts on them having social media later in life?
You know, I know that'll be a debate between me and my wife, but I think the kids will be on decent footing because we're like parents. Not that we're like helicopter parents or anything like that. We got to be checking them constantly, but they're smart kids. They'll figure it out.
That's cool. Run it. So you guys aren't like super strict about it. You'll just be like, well, just make good decisions.
Yeah, when the time's right. Yeah, the kids need to know that nothing good happens after midnight and all that.
100%. What are your thoughts on astrological stuff? What do you think about horoscopes? What do you think about all that? Do you believe in mysticism and astrology and numerology and all that stuff? Are you on board with that, or do you just?
I'm not. I don't know if I'm necessarily on board with it. Mysticism's really cool to me, but
I mean, but it was so.
Into.
Yeah, do you know what your astrological sign is, Brian?
I guess I'm a Leo, I suppose.
So because every horoscope reading would be like, Brian, you're a Leo. Right. So today you are going to be up against some challenges, but I think if you persevere, you might push through those challenges. And you're like, fucking no way, really?
Yeah, I if I look at it, it'll just tell me to go back to bed.
100%. Yeah, just fucking call it in, dude. Just hang it up. Did you know that now you get demonetized on YouTube for suicide, talking about suicide, using the word suicide?
Really?
Yeah, and you have to like censor it now.
So what is the new term? Because this is new to me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you have to beep out suicide in talking about suicide.
Yeah, that'll help. Yeah,
I mean, I don't really understand. It's not like it's slang for anything, right?
What safety baby came up with that idea?
I don't know, man. Are there? I mean, do you think we're crossing we've reached a point now where we've crossed the line, right? As a society, we don't need to be this protected in our speech,
right? I think we've hit the level of stupid, Bill.
Oh, so this seems like a good place to hit pause and move over to the premium part of the episode. So go to www.terribleperson.co to get part 2 with Brian. It's probably good. The rest of this conversation is behind a paywall. It gets pretty wild. So head on over there. Thank you again, Brian, from Undertaking the Podcast. Check out his podcast wherever you're listening to this. Just type in Undertaking the Podcast. Check him out. So yeah, head on over to www.terribleperson.co to get part 2 and all the other premium episodes. Okay, well, I'll see you guys over there.